Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about Celine. Celine is probably one of my favorite houses in perfume, alongside Guerlain's private line. What I think sets Celine's collection apart is how consistent it is. There are not really samples here that I feel are throwaways or any of them that I find repulsive, which is pretty unusual when a brand releases such a large set. Hedi Slimane, who was the creative director during the launch of this whole collection, I think he must have played a large part in composing the final product because none of the perfumers are credited for the creation of these. The result of this collaboration is a line that feels distinctive despite spanning a variety of different moods. I'm gonna be ranking them, but I have to say it was very difficult because even the ones that I wear less often are still very thoughtfully made, and it was clear there was an intention that went in here. And it's also worth noting that this is just my opinion. But here is my order, starting from least compelling and going to most essential. Starting off on this list, we have Saint-Germain-des-Prés. It's very starchy and bright. Notes here are orange pith, neroli, petitgrain, buttery orris, and vanilla. The orris and vanilla turn it creamy, which adds an additional depth to the bright and cologne-like neroli and citrus combination. I feel like I've smelled this profile many times in different fragrances, and even within this collection, it feels like the ghost of Un Été Français. I think this one and Cologne Français should switch names as well. That's going to be the next one on this list because this one feels truer to the Cologne identity, I think, of 4711, and Cologne Français smells like moss on the bricks of a Parisian street, like Saint-Germain-des-Prés. So this one isn't bad at all. I just find it a little bit safe compared to the rest of the ones on this list. Next up, I have Cologne Français. This one, moss and fig leaf come on very strong. Neroli and musk sit in the background. Like I said before, I think the name is misleading here. When I think of cologne, I think of a bright and sparkling citrus, but this is very dark. The top notes fade extremely quick. I can see here the imagery is that you just finished a long drive to Yosemite for fall break. You throw open the car door to free yourself from the stale air, and the cold bites at your skin. As you stand there, your nose adjusts to the air, and you begin to pick up drifting scent from the trees and moss from the nearby river rocks. It's very mysterious, but the name is inaccurate. Next up, we have Bois Dormant. This one has juniper, orris, a warm woods, maybe pine, cumin, a faint smoky vetiver reminiscent to that of Vetiver 46 by Le Labo. I've seen this in reviews compared to Dior Homme Original, but I think here it's really just the creamy iris that it has in common. It's not the statement or icon that Dior Homme Original is. The cumin note really gets more pronounced over the dry down. Bois Dormant is a DNA that I've smelled before, so I don't find myself reaching for it that often. Up next, we have Dans Paris. This is one of the more interesting and confusing ones of the collection. The laurel here evokes an image of olive oil, and the vanilla musk combo combines to create a Play-Doh effect. I've only smelled laurel in Comme des Garçons laurel, which I recall smelling very different to the laurel in this. It's not sweet or gourmand or aromatic or woody of any kind. Over the dry down, the discordant feeling between the oily laurel and the soft vanilla becomes a little bit more harmonic, but that period of unease makes it less of a dumb reach for me. I respect the art of this, but I find I don't wear it very often. Up next, we have Rimbaud, which is iris, lavender, and vanilla. I find the development of this to be really interesting. At first, the greenness of the lavender smells very sharp and astringent, but over time it develops into a very beautiful and creamy portrait of a lavender bush. It's not sunny or warm, and the perfume doesn't aim to describe the environment with which you smell the bush. It's not romanticized or idealized. It's isolated. The lavender bush is just in a vacuum, or it's like a memory, but the lens is focused very tightly, only on a small portion of the bush. Up next, we have Un Été Français. This one is neroli, petitgrain, light yellow florals, citrus, and vanilla. It's like Soleil Blanc ate Saint-Germain-des-Prés and then lost a ton of weight. It carries over the sunscreen feeling from Soleil Blanc, but there's no coconut here. I was wearing this a lot this summer. It's very uplifting, and it reminds me of sunbathing on a crowded beach. Up next, we have La Peau Nue. There's a powdery and bright iris. It smells like those baby dolls with the eyes that close when you lean them back. The skin of the doll has been lathered up and moisturized with Nivea lotion. I like this fragrance, but it's very soft and leaning nondescript. Rice is supposed to be a note in here, but it's not prominent at all if that was the perfumer's intention. At least not in the way it is in Born to Stand Out or Danam's Rice perfumes. The image I get here is very cold and slick and purple. Smells like a person you love who doesn't care to return your affection. Up next, we have Black Tie. This is a very linear cedar and dry vanilla. There's light iris here. This is Celine's #1, I believe. It's a pretty big cult favorite among those who've had the opportunity to smell it. I've read reviews saying that even if you don't love it at first, you should give it a chance, but I've gone through almost the full vial and I have a few things to say here. The longevity and projection is pretty bad, next to nothing, like Le Labo's Tokyo City exclusive Gaiac 10. I think it's really beautiful, but it also might not even be the best vanilla in the Celine Haute collection. Up next, we have Eau de Californie. This is Palo Santo, Iris, Moss, and Vetiver. With this one, people don't seem to find it a standout in the collection, but I find it underrated. It's been compared to Molecule 1 plus Gaiac Wood or Bal d'Afrique, but I find they don't have the same Palo Santo note. Molecule 01 plus Gaiac leans a little bit more smoky and stern, while Bal d'Afrique is pretty fruity and playful. This represents more of an in-between of those two. The imagery here is very unhurried. I could imagine you're taking it slow on a late night and you light some Palo Santo and you watch the smoke trail lazily in the air as you drag it across the room. It's just meditative as you're sitting there. At the #3 spot, I have Celine's Parade. This is Neroli, Bergamot, Orris, Oak Musk, and Musk, although the Oak Moss and Musk is very light here. I smelled this before getting it in the sample set, so I may have a little bit of a bias, but I find it to be very powerful. It leaves a strong impression on the memory. This composition is very timeless, and it feels like Celine, even before Hedi Slimane was the creative director there. I feel like when people treat fragrance as having social meaning or fetishize luxury goods, this is what those people in pursuit of status wish to embody. At the #2 spot, I have Night Clubbing. This defines Hedi Slimane's Celine. Prominent notes here are galbanum, iris, patchouli, and vanilla. The galbanum here recreates the bitter and pervasive smell of a cigarette butt that you've left in your bag, while the iris here smells like a lipstick whose cap came undone on accident. This fragrance conjures the image of the Slimane silhouette. It's dangerously thin, self-absorbed, fraying at the edges, and very fragile. The person who wears this is probably very sultry. It's vivid. This is one of my top ranked of the line. The last one I have on this list is Celine's Reptile. This one was not my favorite at first, but the moss, vanilla, pepper, cedar, and mineralic notes here give it qualities that I've found in really no other vanilla perfume. In reviews, I've seen it construed as chlorinated, but upon the dry down, you lose the minerality and it becomes less astringent. It doesn't smell like a literal lizard, but it embodies the poised and mysterious mindset of a creature ready to strike. It's certainly well named, and it represents the experience of attention and the surrender to it. So that's it for Celine's Haute Parfumerie collection. If you noticed I didn't review Celine Zuzu, it's because my girlfriend took the sample with her on vacation. I want to say that even the lower ranked perfumes here aren't bad at all. I just find them to be softer and less memorable. For those who might want to sample the full set, the Discovery set is 12 by 2 milliliter sprays for $60 on the Celine website, which comes out to $2.50 per milliliter, compared to most other private lines, Guerlain's private line, Dior Prive, Le Labo. They charge anywhere from $4 to $9 per milliliter for samples. So I believe this is a really good deal. The presentation is nice and on the better side of deals for those interested in this style of perfumery. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my rankings, if you smelled the Celine perfumes, and I'll be doing other reviews and maybe some first impressions soon. Thanks.